So this is the kind of robot mower that immediately gets attention the second you pull it out of the box. Not because it looks futuristic, but because it looks tough. And honestly, that alone already separates the Lymow One Plus from most robotic mowers in this category. Because instead of focusing only on convenience, this thing seems heavily focused on traction, cutting power, and long-term durability. So today, we are going through to see how those dual rotary blades actually perform once the lawn gets difficult. Let's get started. Right away, the Lymow One Plus feels very different from typical robot mowers. It is physically larger, much heavier, and honestly looks closer to compact outdoor equipment than a backyard gadget. The mower weighs around 78 pounds, and once you lift it, that weight actually makes sense because the construction feels extremely solid. Lymow uses an A380 automotive-grade aluminum frame instead of mostly plastic construction, and you can feel that rigidity immediately. The body feels dense, planted, and much more confidence-inspiring when driving across rough terrain. And honestly, the tracked drive system changes the personality of the mower immediately. Most robotic mowers still rely on traditional wheels, which work fine until the lawn gets uneven, loose, muddy, or steep. But the tracked treads here completely change how the mower behaves. It distributes weight better, keeps traction more consistently, and feels much more stable when crossing difficult areas. Then around the front, you have the AI vision cameras, ultrasonic sensors, and front lighting system all positioned very visibly. So instead of trying to hide the technology, the mower almost embraces that rugged smart machine appearance. The charging station also feels well thought out. The charging contacts now connect from the front flap-style system rather than underneath the mower itself. And honestly, that feels more practical because dirt, mud, and wet grass are much less likely to interfere with charging over time. Now, one of the strongest parts of the Lymow One Plus is definitely the navigation system. This mower combines RTK positioning with VSLAM visual mapping, and in practical use, that combination matters a lot. Because RTK alone can struggle once the mower gets close to tall walls, trees, narrow paths, or heavier coverage areas. But once visual mapping joins the system, the mower maintains orientation much more confidently. And during testing, the navigation honestly felt very mature overall. It moves in organized patterns instead of random wandering, which immediately makes the mowing process look cleaner and more efficient. You spend less time watching repeated passes or unnecessary corrections. And setup itself stays relatively simple too. Instead of burying perimeter wires, you manually drive the mower around your property boundary once through the app. Then the mower builds its digital map from there. And honestly, once you experience wire-free setup, it becomes difficult to go back to older, wired systems. And as for the app, it allows multi-zone management for up to 80 zones, which becomes genuinely useful for larger or more complicated properties. So you can assign different mowing heights, schedules, and mowing sequences to different sections individually. And besides that, you can manually create transfer paths between zones too, which helps the mower travel efficiently across separated lawn areas. Connectivity is also pretty complete here, with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 4G support, so the mower stays accessible even across larger properties. Now this is probably the most important part, because no matter how smart a mower becomes, the actual cutting quality still matters more than anything else. And honestly, the cutting system on the Lymow feels genuinely powerful. This mower uses what Lymow calls the Lycut System 2.0, which combines dual rotary SK 5 steel blades with a dedicated high-output motor system. And compared to many smaller robotic mowers that use lightweight, razor-style blades, the difference becomes noticeable quickly. The SK5 blades here are much more rigid and durable, and they spin between 3,000 and 6,000 revolutions per minute, depending on mowing conditions. Combined with the 1,785 watt peak motor output, the mower has significantly more authority when cutting through thick or overgrown grass. And in practical use, that extra power matters. Because weaker robot mowers usually struggle once grass becomes tall or dense. You start hearing motors slow down, then eventually see missed strips or uneven patches. But the Lymow keeps blade speed surprisingly stable, even during more demanding sections. The mower also uses a floating cutting deck, which becomes very useful on uneven lawns. Normally, with rough terrain, one side of the mower dips too low, while another side misses grass completely. But this floating setup continuously adapts itself to terrain changes underneath the mower, which helps maintain a more even cutting result overall. And then there is the airflow system. Lymow redesigned the blade setup to create a cyclone airflow effect underneath the deck. Basically, flattened grass gets lifted upward before the blades cut it. And honestly, this is one of those features that sounds slightly marketing heavy until you actually see it work on messy lawns. Because bent or rain-flattened grass usually gets skipped by many robot mowers. But here, the airflow helps expose more grass to the blades, so the finished result looks much cleaner afterward. Another thing we appreciated is how well this mower handles mulching. Because the dual rotary blades spin at very high speed, grass clippings become extremely fine once discharged back into the lawn. And that helps in two ways. First, the lawn looks cleaner because you are not left with visible clumps everywhere. And second, the tiny clippings naturally break down much faster into the soil. The same thing applies during leaf season too. The mower can mulch dry leaves into fine particles surprisingly effectively, which honestly reduces cleanup work a lot during fall months. So instead of treating the mower only as a grass cutter, it also becomes part of ongoing lawn maintenance throughout the season. Now honestly, this is probably where the Lymow One Plus separates itself most from typical robot mowers. Because the tracked tread system combined with the heavier construction gives it a huge advantage once the terrain becomes difficult. The mower can handle slopes up to 45 degrees, which is honestly far beyond what most people probably need regularly. But even before reaching those extremes, you already notice how much more secure and stable it feels compared to wheel-drive competitors. Lymow also rates obstacle crossing up to 2.8 inches, which helps a lot around roots, rough terrain edges, or uneven transitions between lawn sections. And because the mower itself feels mechanically solid, the entire machine gives much more confidence during difficult terrain use. Now, obstacle avoidance is another area where many robot mowers still feel inconsistent. But the Lymow actually feels fairly balanced here. The mower uses AI vision combined with 5 ultrasonic sensors and additional Hall sensors for real-time obstacle detection. And during operation, the system reacts fairly naturally. Instead of constantly stopping or hesitating, the mower usually recognizes objects early and smoothly adjusts direction while maintaining mowing momentum. So, things like toys, garden decorations, branches, or random yard clutter become much less stressful during operation. Lymow also mentions that the recognition system was trained using large obstacle-specific datasets, and honestly, the mower does feel more confident around real-world outdoor clutter compared to many simpler robotic systems. Then there are additional safety and ownership features too. You get geofence alerts, GPS tracking, and built-in anti-theft protection, which becomes useful considering the size and value of this machine. Battery performance here also feels properly designed around larger lawns. The mower uses a 15 ampere-hour Life P04 battery with around 3 hours of runtime per cycle. And depending on charger version, recharge times can drop to roughly 90 minutes with a faster 10 ampere charger. And because the mower can cover up to 1.73 acres per day, it genuinely feels capable of maintaining larger properties consistently. Now, one detail we genuinely appreciated is the battery chemistry itself. Because LiFePO4 batteries usually handle long-term charge cycles much better than standard lithium battery setups. And with robotic mowers constantly charging themselves throughout the season, That becomes very important over time. Lymow rates the battery for around 2,000 charging cycles, which should help long-term durability significantly. And another practical advantage here is the removable battery design. So years later, battery replacement feels much more manageable instead of turning into a complicated service process. After spending time with the Lymow One Plus, the biggest takeaway honestly comes down to purpose. Because this mower clearly feels designed for more demanding lawn conditions instead of perfectly controlled suburban yards. The tracked drive system feels extremely capable. The dual blade cutting system has real cutting authority. The RTK plus VSLAM navigation feels mature and reliable. And besides that, the overall construction gives confidence that this thing was built for long-term outdoor use. This feels less like a smart gadget and much more like a serious, autonomous outdoor machine. That was all. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews.